Kyle, and this is Henny Penny joining me today at Whistling Dixie Farms. Today, we wanted to take a minute to introduce you to the Oat Fodder system that we use to grow green grass for our free-range chickens here in Minnesota during the winter. A typical winter day today looks something like this. As you can see, everything is nice and pretty and white. And while this makes a really nice winter scene, for our free-range chicken flock, it's not as great. They're used to munching on grass and green things all summer long around the farm as they free-range. So to make up for not having green grass to free-range on, we came up with this system to grow our own grass in the middle of winter right here in the house. And then each day, our chickens get a little piece of that that they can snack on and enjoy and help them to get through what can sometimes be a bit of a bleak winter around here. This is the first half of my system where oats begin their journey to become oat fodder. That's where I start with a bucket of dry oats. Just keep a coffee can in there for scooping. I just kind of eyeball the measurement. And I use that to carry the oats in from my outside bin. So I take dry oats on day one and they go into these two coffee cans here. You can see they're filled with water and oats. They spend 24 hours soaking the dry seeds in water. On the second day, the soaked oats get dumped into the second set of coffee cans. These coffee cans have holes drilled in the bottom, and they sit over the top of this tote that I am basically using like a big funnel on this wire shelf rack. And from there, they sit in these red drain cans for another day, and they get rinsed a couple times. And the reason why I do this, when I get oats, I get uncleaned oats, which means there can be little bits of crud and dust and oat straw potentially. But then oats naturally also have some yeast and maybe some like mold spores on them, just as a product of a seed that's grown outdoors. It just happens that way. Normally it doesn't hurt anything, but when you take those seeds and you put them in a wet environment like this, it gives the yeast and the mold opportunity to grow if you let them. So by letting them sit in these two cans and rinsing them several times very well, it washes all that away right down the drain, and then I don't have issues with mold or like fermentation of the grain. And that's also the reason why on the other part of my setup on the shelves, I don't let one tray drain into the next. They just all go right into the gutters and into the drain. I don't want any of that leftover dust or yeast or whatever rinsing from one tray to the next. Some people don't mind that. I don't particularly like that idea. Trying to keep things simple, and dealing with moldy or fermenting trays is not in my top list. So just to kind of show you what day two is like, so I would dump this from here, and then I've got my hose that you can see runs from my well pump in the back here, and I just drain these real well. And from the coffee cans, they drain down into this rubber tote, and this rubber tote had a crack in it, so I just repurposed it by drilling a larger hole in the corner, just kind of, like I said, working like a funnel to get the water down to the drain in the floor. So from those red coffee cans, the oats make their journey over to this setup for days 3 through 10. This is basically just a couple shelves that I've built out of more of that wire closet rack. They set at a slightly downhill angle to help the draining happen. And the oats get transferred from that red tray into these plastic bins. I get these at the local farm store. They're Sterilite bins, 6 quarts. They're about 89 cents, and they work fantastic for this. I've drilled a couple small holes across this bottom edge, and when they sit here on this shelf, it allows the water, I can spray the water right on the top, and then it runs down this gutter system that I set up at a slight angle, and it goes down a funnel that I've attached to the end, down a bit of clear pipe into this bigger 4-inch drain pipe, which then runs down and meets at the floor drain with the other part of the system. These 3 shelves allow me, I think, like 21 of these bins. That's just what that wire shelving I had. It's about 5 feet long, I believe, that I got for free. And I really encourage you, if you wanted to try something like this, do look around and find what you can for free, because you don't have to build something exactly like this. You could build it, based off whatever materials you can get your hands on, and make it work for you cheap. If you spend a ton of money to set this up, I think you're already starting out behind the 8 ball. So, anyways, so that's kind of how it works. I water these every day. Again, just get my hose, easily spray this stuff twice a day, in the morning and the evening, and then the evening is when I pull out a bin to take out to the chickens, and 2 bins actually. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the night, and this is about what they look like. This guy will grow a little bit more yet, but you can see it's just a nice lush grass that comes up. There's a good root mat that forms, and I'll just take that upstairs, throw it on a cutting board, and chop it into a couple pieces, take it outside, and put it in the chickens' feed, and they go just bonkers for this stuff. They eat the green part, the seeds, the roots, all of it, and like I said, they get 2 of these trays a day, and that's why there's 2 coffee cans. So, all right, so now we're out in the chicken coop. I've got the bin, and these guys are ready for some breakfast. It's about 15 below zero this morning, so everybody is still inside and where it's warm and ready for some fodder. And here is how it goes. Just grab a handful, chuck into my different feed bins. Now, right now we're right smack in the middle of Christmas and New Year's, and we've been doing a little bit of travel, so I'm a little bit off my regular schedule as fodder. That's why this stuff doesn't look real lush. Usually these blocks are about 3 inches thick of root mat and probably another 5 or so inches of grass when they reach that 10-day growth period. Just with the traveling and stuff, I've kind of had to just keep things running for the sake of moving stuff through. It takes a few days to catch back up, so I'll stick a link down in the comment. I've got a photo album of this whole process as well that I shared a while back. You can get a better idea of what this grass should look like when it... Alright guys, so that's more or less my system. I had to do a quick camera change in the cold, and the battery weren't getting along, but that's pretty much how things work around here. Everybody's happily munching their fodder, and I'm ready to head back inside and get by the wood stove and warm up because it is cold this morning. So if you have any questions, drop a comment. I'm more than happy to discuss things with you and help you out if you decide that you want to build a fodder system kind of like this for your chickens. Have a great day.